thank you very much for joining us. I'm going to send it
worries.
back to Nick Boy, who will at some point be eating lots of chili.
Yes, but until then, we've got more League of Legends to get on with. But before even that, while the teams are getting into the studio, I have learned everything there is to learn about Amumu. And I'm basically an Amumu Pro, best Amumu on the server, blah, blah, blah.
Have you?
Yeah.
To the point where no matter what question we ask you, you'll be able to answer it?
To quote Jake from when I originally pitched Procasso, I will 100% get 50%.
Now, do you have anything you want to ask? A Amumu question?
No,
before
you can
jump
fire.
straight in?
I need to think about this.
All right. Spell names. What are Amumu's spell names?
His passive is Cursed Touch. His spells are Bandage Toss, Despair, Tantrum, Curse the Sad Mummy.
Not bad.
That's not bad.
Are you looking at it on your
No,
laptop?
I'm not. But I will sit this down because we don't want...
Had to
Yeah, that's
confirm.
cheating. Yeah.
All right.
You can keep going.
Question 2. Name 3 Amumu quotes.
I thought you'd never pick me. When you don't pick him or ban him. Aww.
Yeah.
And then...
Hold on. Can we get like a more accurate representation of what that sounds like? Like,
I'm going to be honest, I never listened to it. I
Ju-
just read it.
okay.
But from what...
Try again.
From what I imagine he sounds like... I thought you'd never pick me. And then, will you be my friend?
Yeah.
Is that one?
Yeah.
Let's be friends forever.
Let's be friends
I think,
forever.
Will you be my
Yeah.
friend? I don't know.
I don't know.
And there's something about holding hands.
Let me give you a hug.
Let me give you a hug. That's it. It's close enough.
Close enough, sure. I mean, you still got 3 regardless.
Yeah.
They're getting harder and harder. You got one?
I have
haven't
nothing
got-
on
okay.
Amumu. I casted the game.
I was sitting backstage writing Amumu stuff, so I was hoping that, maybe we'd stump him with one. Name 3 Amumu skins.
Re-gifted Amumu.
He's
Yeah.
got good skins.
Infernal or Inferno
Infernal.
Amumu.
Infernal.
Infernal.
Yeah.
And then the famously cancelled skin, Sown Chaos Amumu. There's also Emumu, which I think is emo.
Yeah.
Emo Amumu, yeah.
Sad Knight Amumu.
Yep.
Sad Robot Amumu.
Yep.
Yeah.
There's something about
Bonus question.
Egyptian.
Which one
Pharaoh
of
Amumu or
the
something?
Amumu skins has a chroma pack?
Question
would
on
it
top
be
of the question.
Would it?
What is a chroma pack?
Chroma pack means, no, Bryce, fair. A chroma pack means that you can change the colors
Yep.
of the skin.
Nice.
Is it infernal?
I don't know. Is it?
I don't know either.
I'm not
Okay, it
sure.
absolutely
I feel
is.
it
And
is.
then bonus question again.
Yep.
Which of those chroma packs is unpurchasable? Do you have to get from watching
This is
one of
such an
our
Egypt
OPL
question.
partnered streamers when we host them after the show? You have to get a little giveaway. Which one of it is those? What color?
That's the most Egypt question imaginable as well.
Blue?
No.
Damn it.
Sorry, mate. It's green. It's definitely green.
Yeah.
Let's keep the skin line though.
Yep.
Which Amumu skin, when it first came out,
Yep.
had a global laugh? Like there was a laugh that everyone on the enemy team and ally team could hear.
It was a bug and it was reverted, and I banned Amumu every game until it was.
Oh, it was a bug.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It's not part of it. I'm gonna say rejected prom king Amumu.
Nah.
Damn.
Sad robot, and it's a very annoying laugh.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So my last question for you, because I think, are we
Got
done
one?
with them forever? No.
whatever you
So
want.
what I was going to say is, when you play Amumu,
Yep.
are you going to play him as a tank
Yep.
or as an AP burst mage?
You can play him as both.
But what are you going to play him as?
I'm going to play him as an AP burst mage because the majority of his kit relies on his spells.
Okay, so what are you going to max?
Huh?
What are you going to max?
I'm going to max... What would I max? I would max... Bandage Toss?
Yes! Hey! You are actually... You
done well.
could go onto Summoner's Rift right now and play Amumu.
Are we done?
Yeah.
I think so.
I didn't write many. I was also watching the
I
game.
nailed
so-
it.
Well done.
Excellent work. Me? No, that was good.
That was actually... I remember we've done this segment before.
Yep.
And I feel like it was much less successful.
I think it really was.
You've come a long way.
The people are very excited.
The problem is we're all like color casters that we've been asking the question, so we care about the game from a competitive standpoint.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like last time we had the guy from Dragon Friends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He
Blake,
just- yeah, he
Dave.
Dave, he
Dave
just
was
wanted all the
asking
lore.
hella lore questions,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
we're sitting here just like, yeah, I can tell you about like Amumu's build, but also I have no idea where he comes from.
I got some lore for you, though. We're not sure if he's a small human boy or he's a yodel. We don't know which story is true about a Mumu.
Well,
Did he hug the little sad girl in the castle who wanted to show him affection because his family died and she gave him a cursed touch? Was he some prick emperor that got cursed, or is he wandering around dressed as a homeless person to go as soon as someone is my friend, then I can stop dressing as a beggar? And then he never found a friend and he died. And that's why he's still wandering around looking for a friend. Oh baby, I am a Mumu. What a surprise. We're going to move on now. Actually, before we do, we've got a challenge for the chat. It's not really a challenge, but it's a call out because Pyrotechnics will be joining us next week.
Oh, yeah.
Famously not born in this country. So
American.
I don't know if we can trust him. You know what I'm saying? It's fine. He's white. I can say that. And then he doesn't know a lot about Australian
Food. Cuisine.
And tradition, I guess. So we want to crowdsource some things to feed him over the next broadcast, like Australian delicacies.
Because what is the most Australian meal?
Bunnings snag.
With some
punning snag
burnt,
is a good answer.
some burnt, because normally when Gordon Ramsay makes caramelized onions, they're sat there and they're a slab of butter goes in and they're slow cooked for 30 minutes.
Depends
when my mum makes snags, it's maximum temperature on the barbecue.
Yep.
Black charred onion.
See, as a Gold Coaster, the most Australian thing is usually you go to the beach, they've got barbecue set up at the beach on the Gold Coast every 100
The
meters.
really slow ones where they don't want people to burn themselves, but apparently they also don't want you to be able to cook your food in a timely
takes a
fashion.
while.
Yep.
But
I
that's
think the
okay.
most Australian food is just anything on a barbecue. That is kind of...
Not something old school like a stew or a shepherd's pie or
we'll ask the
kangaroo
chat.
steak.
So people can submit it. If you go on Twitter, and there's a post on there right now, you can reply to that using the hashtag IamOPL, or just reply to the post and give us some suggestions. And we'll get the ones that we feel identify most as Australian. We'll bring them in and we'll give them a little tasting plate and
Who's
see.
cooking them? Are you a good cook?
I'm okay. Yeah.
What's your go-to meal?
That I cook.
Yeah.
I do a really good pulled pork Mexican basic taco.
Yep.
That's but a long stewed pork sort of thing. That's really good.
Not Australian, so can't give it to him.
Can't give it to him. I could cook a shepherd's pie. Everyone could cook a shepherd's pie.
I hate shepherd's pie. Mashed potato sucks.
Yeah, like
Oh, I think we've had this conversation.
I don't eat
before.
potatoes, so any form of potato, especially purified potato, garbage.
Oh my god. Okay. Well, we're
The
feeding
fancy
you
garbage,
potato,
of
and we're
course.
feeding someone, and we're feeding Pyra. Whatever the chat suggests. So let us know, and we'll pick the best ones next segment. Okay. It's time to finally get back into League of Legends. Mammoth versus Legacy. That's who we got coming up next. Spicy tips don't matter. Everyone picked Mammoth. Let's move on with that. I don't need to relive that pain. We'll walk through the Mammoth roster. Jake, talk us through the boys.
Yeah, it's going to be Fantix as their coach, Topoon in the top lane, Babbitt Pathos their jungle, Triple King and Destiny. Round out the bottom side of the map. This is a lineup that everyone was excited for. I think so far have underperformed, and looking forward to seeing if they can. I want a 20-minute win. If I'm going to be brutally honest, about this game, if they're going to reassert themselves in my mind as a top 3 team this weekend, they need to come out and Legacy.
The thing is, they've needed to do this last week as well. Before Legacy, they had to lose a game beforehand when they lost the Bombers. And granted, that was a hard game, but in that first week, in the second game, they did look clean. They played it pretty clean. They closed it out pretty nicely. And the thing is, now they have to do it again in week 2. And I agree. From this point, they can't just be slow, methodical, and clean. They need to be able to actually clap their opponents and prove that they are still one of the top dogs. Because this conversation comes up every time now that we look at Mammoth. Are they still a top 3 team?
In saying that, I'm about to rip up the ladder because Chiefs just beat Bombers and Order beat Chiefs and Avant's beaten everyone apart from Chiefs. And so what is going on? All I know, Gravitas, not a top 3 team.
So we are therefore expecting a win from Legacy. And Rusty, if you could talk us down Legacy.
Certainly can. Of course, you've got Coach Denny in there behind them in the draft. Paprise is the top laner. Guts in the jungle. Chaz, their mid laner from Queensland, of course. And Pradith and Crazy rounds out the bottom lane for this team. And it's not an easy game for them. And they've said it before, Legacy, but they've still got a point to prove. And they want to show that they can win.
Yeah, and I think that, this is a lineup that is starting to evolve an identity. Obviously, Paprise is going to get a counter pick, I think it's fair to say, especially given the fact they're on the red side of Summoner's Rift. And I want to see him take a skill matchup into Topoon, because Topoon is probably going to play a carry. We've seen him play a Kali already. And, you know, if there is a lane they're going to win, and Paparazzi said it himself, actually in the Legacy vlog, that he thinks he can take it to him and he thinks he can rotate advantage around the map. So that's interesting to me, because Topoon's pretty hyped up coming into the OPL.
Absolutely, but they also say, you know, Topoon's someone that will grow into being one of the best players. Fantix, of course, saying that recently. But Paparazzi is someone that's been around for a long enough time now to be able to come into this game, get the counter and pop off. And I agree, like, he is the win condition for me in a game like this against Mammoth. While the rest of the map still needs to do their job, Paparazzi is the one that can go above and beyond in this moment and really be the hero of Legacy.
And I think I want to see, like, and obviously you can't actually see this, but I want to see, like, who takes control of the game for Mammoth. Like, whether it's King and Destiny playing very aggressive, whether it's Babip, like, camping out Triple's lane, or, you know, helping out his top laner, like, who grabs this game by the scruff of its neck and, like, tries to direct it somewhere, because they've got so many good players. Like, all these players are, like, an 8 or a 9 or sometimes even a 10, but they haven't got a traditional leader, I would say, apart from maybe Destiny. So I think that this team will take some time to gel.
Alrighty, well, you can check out the game on lol.esports.com to get yourself some in-game rewards, and also Guts is our POV stream on Twitter for this
He's
game.
in the OPL.
He is in the OPL, that's what I read in Twitch chat. If you go to twitter.com/OPL, you can check out Guts' POV stream. And for more POV streams, this doesn't work at all, just throw it to the desk.
Thanks, Nick boy. We're going to do the POV stream of the casters. No, we're not going to. I'm actually kind of excited about Guts in the POV stream, Bryce. That's,
Yeah, okay.
He's actually, I've watched him play at jungle. He's got a lot of mechanics. He's actually a pretty good player.
Certainly has. I feel like that's been, to talk about him as a player, like, that is his strength. He's very, like, has been around the scene for a very long time, but I feel like hasn't been tested for a number of reasons in the competitive landscape. Was on XR5 and they had a disastrous split.
Yeah.
So, like, you could see some weird things. Last game that Legacy played, they got absolutely bopped by Bombers, and he was playing Elise. So I expect this is sort of, in my head, I agree with what Jake was saying. Like, this is an uphill battle for Legacy again, but they could go towards something like the Elise, which is first cool for a POV stream, because it's not like he's playing Sejuani, he's just hitting minions. So hopefully they don't go that route, but like, this is their style where they can opt in for very early game stuff and try and take it to Mammoth.
Absolutely. So we are in a champion select here for Mammoth versus Legacy. Our third game of the day. Still one more to go after this one. Our last game of the day will be Avant versus Direwolves. I think that's going to be a very good game as well, actually. I'm looking forward to that. But for now, I want to see how Mammoth do. If you see up the top there, they're win 1, lost 2. That is not the start of the split they wanted. They are here and hungry to try and get a win on the board.
Super weird to see them at 1 and 2. Equal to Legacy, both of these teams coming off that loss, so it is going to be pretty interesting. Zach Ban is the only weird one so far, but we are going to have a couple of OPs left on the table. Aatrox is the big one that springs to mind. Urgot Lucian as well, because of the Lissandra counter pick, ban rather. Corky Hover is probably just trolling, as Mammoth take their time.
Let's roll through the bans quickly. So it is Zach Akali Irelia for Mammoth being taken off the board, and Lissandra Galio Cassiopeia for Legacy. So now Mammoth, like you said, Aatrox. First picked.
Yep.
What's left now for Legacy?
Urgot Lucian, do they prioritize it? I feel like Legacy, I've said this time after time, they are the team that very often leaves everything open. They are in red side, so they kind of have to pay the Cassiopeia tax just because it's so obscenely broken. They don't want Galio to get through the draft, so they get rid of that one. But a lot of these OPs, like the Lucian, like the Urgot, like the Aatrox, are already open, and they have weird answers. They have a top laner on your screen right now who's playing AD carry, has transitioned to the role this split, has spent a bit of time, but nowhere near the amount of time in the role as someone like King. So Lucian Braum is a very potent bottom lane that they've locked in. See what Mammoth can do to it.
Absolutely. I think Praedyth is a player we'll be keeping our eye on throughout this split. His first week performance didn't look so great. He struggled a little bit in lane, but as he's played more, I feel like he's found his feet a little bit. It's going to be curious to see how he goes here, because his lane opponent is King and Destiny, who are two big veterans in the game. The amount of grand final appearances between these two players is astronomical.
Certainly is. It's interesting to talk about the matchup already in the bottom side, because it's kind of flipped. King and Destiny, in my eyes, in the OPL, they would be the best bottom lane at playing a weak side defensive style. King is very good at losing, which I've said before, and it's kind of weird to say, but that is a very useful skill. And Destiny, when he was on Direwolves, was more of that player. When he was on Chiefs, he was more of like the Alistar the Rakan engage guy, but he has also played that style with King previously. So the fact that the Lucian Braum, the aggressive, the potent lane is in the hands of Legacy, and they want to be the aggressors, and there's a Kai'Sa counter pick, which isn't like a 1v1 Lucian counter. They're just looking to farm up and scale. So I feel like Mammoth are looking for that negative side of the bot lane.
Absolutely. So that bot lane is locked in. It is going to be Lucian Braum versus Kai'Sa Alistar. On the flip side, we've got the jungler here. For Legacy, it is Sejuani being picked up here by Guts. So if you're on the POV stream, you're watching a Sejuani game here.
I feel like I jinxed that one, unfortunately. Sorry,
But
fellas.
Guts is a very active player, though. I don't often see him sitting in jungle farming. You'll actually get a pretty good view of the map. And what I want to point out with jungle POVs is look how much they look around the map. Because you'll notice a lot of the time they don't actually look at their own champion so much. So if you're a jungle player, I reckon keep that open on your second screen and see how he plays.
I feel like the thing is, if you're a jungle player, like you're watching the POV of a jungler and they're not F-toggling, and what I mean by that is like the F1, F2, F3 keys where you can just peek around the map at all your lanes, then you should go to Twitter and you should just flame it. Because, you know what I mean? Like, that is it's purely upside. There's no downside to looking around the map. So if he's not doing it enough, then call it out, you know?
Fair enough. Bans come through. Let's quickly rush through them. Urgot, second ban phase, been hit Fiora as well. The two solo laners are open, so they've hit Papyrus most likely twice. And then Rise, Kindred taken off the board. Mammoth still need a jungler. Now, LeBlanc is locked in, most likely for Chaz. I don't see that one being flexed around. And now Mammoth have to answer. They've got their jungler here and a solo laner. Aatrox versus LeBlanc. I don't know if that's a matchup you want. So you got to expect, I think, a mid laner and a jungler here. Camille locked in.
There is potential, of course. They're going to have to blind pick something here. Camille, because they are blue side, there are teams in the OPL that can do like a Camille flex to the top side. Topoon, I think, could be that guy, but just because of the nature of this draft, this is not going to be the game. Urgot getting banned in the second phase and not even touched is kind of weird. The fact that Legacy prioritized their bottom lane of blind very heavily means that guy kind of just slips through. You don't really want to show both Aatrox and Urgot if you're Mammoth, so it just slips through the draft. But this is an interesting pick. So this is a Kassadin into the LeBlanc.
We haven't seen Kassadin yet this year, and I think, honestly, back in the day, Kassadin used to be big. And then a while after that, he got reworked. His ult, he got taken a bit of burst off his kit, but his ult got this super low cooldown. What are your thoughts on Kassadin?
Good into LeBlanc, right?
Okay.
Like, she goes in for the poke, like, past, like, you just obviously want to scale. Kassadin is kind of literal garbage in the early game. Pre-6, he's useless in any sort of skirmish, so the fact that they have a Camille into a Sejuani, that, like, jungle deficit for Legacy means that Mammoth are going to use that to kind of get them through the early game. And Kassadin just wants to get to level 6, get to level 11, and he can weather the storm of a LeBlanc pretty well with a magic shield. He can actually harass back when she distorts in. You can just hit her with a pulse, you can hit her with a Q, and you deal fine with it, and then you can just look for opportunities around the map.
Absolutely. Jack's the last pick here for Papyrus in the top lane. Jax versus Aatrox is that matchup. There, I'm looking across the map here, Bryce, and I see a lot of volatile lanes. That top lane, very volatile. That mid lane, volatile. And even the bot lane has some volatility to it with Destiny having good engage. I am very curious to see where the junglers put their attention this game.
Because I feel like the pressure is definitely on Guts more so than Babbitt. Mammoth's comp scales incredibly well. Jax over Aatrox, yes. It's not like Aatrox is a slouch in the late game, but this is a Kassadin, this is a Kai'Sa with a big, beefy front line, and they have engage tools in the Ali and Camille. So Legacy, much like their last game versus Bombers, which honestly did not go well. They didn't find the opportunities. It's not an Elise, it is a Sejuani, so maybe they find them a little bit later or a little bit post-6, but they need to be leveraging this Lucian Braum very early on in the game, and if they don't get into the mid-game with a lead, then unfortunately they're already going to be behind the clock, in my opinion. Like, they have a Jax, yes, but the clock is definitely on them.
Fantastic. Well, joining us here, we've got the coach of Legacy. It's Denian. Welcome back.
Hey, how's it going?
Pretty good. So tell us about this draft. Is this what you wanted this game to look like?
Yeah, the only thing that sort of stood out and we didn't quite expect was the Kassadin, but everything else was pretty much what we thought they would do.
Is Kassadin, like, do you think it's a good pick here? Do you just kind of see it and be like, oh, that's actually really clever, or just see it and go, oh, that's kind of weird?
I thought it was good. Like, I'm pretty sure Kassadin does beat LeBlanc and puts her into a bad spot, so I mean that is good for them, but that is the risk we do when we blind pick LeBlanc.
And I feel like, at least in my opinion, you would have heard me as you were walking into the room. Like, you guys are kind of on the clock here. This is, in my eyes, the last 2 games for Legacy have been that sort of situation. It's not as of a hard commit like the Elise, but do you feel the same way? They've obviously gone for the Kassadin and the Kai'Sa heavy scaling. Is this a style you guys prefer?
I don't think we're necessarily locked out a late game, because if we look at how the game's going to operate, if it goes like 4-1 or 1-3-1, then either Aatrox or Kassadin has to be able to manage the Jax. So if they cannot manage the Jax, then late game scaling is kind of irrelevant unless they can dive the 4 or 3 that stand in mid.
Because also Kassadin doesn't have TP, whereas your LeBlanc does. So unless triple can actually match, like, I feel like, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So my concern would be if we don't get Jax ahead, then we don't have any sort of splits push to actually pressure them.
Fair enough. I'm curious. You obviously do the draft. You got that minute before you leave stage. What do you tell your team as everything's locked in? They're trading around just to give them a bit of last-minute prep.
Well, mostly because these guys are relatively inexperienced. It's talking just about sort of the basics, the fundamentals of how you want to play the composition, how you want to react to what the other team does. So in this case, as an example, is if we're doing like a 4-1 or a 1-3-1, that we want to have the team pressuring another objective while Jax is doing something.
Fair enough. So obviously, after this, you'll be in the room watching the game. What's it like being like stuck in a room watching this team from a distance and not being able to talk to them as they play?
Oh, it is so much more stressful than playing. Absolutely, so much more stressful. Well, like when I played, I thought, oh, like everyone that like watched me play that was like a family or whatever, they always said, it is so stressful watching you. And I was like, what about me? I'm playing it. I'm in the game, yeah. But now that I'm not in the game, my emotion is just like, I really wish I was in the game. Why can't I get in there and change something and do something and impact it directly?
Yeah, you don't have tangible impact. You're just sitting there like your job is done, you've walked off, you have absolutely no interaction, and
it's
kind of get to sit back
so
and just watch. Yeah.
The first time I did it back on Atletico, it was just my mind was just completely racing. every time something happened, I was so nervous. My heart was beating so fast.
Fantastic. Well, thank you very much for jumping on and giving us some insight. Best of luck in the game.
Thanks. Have a good one.
Thank you. All right, Bryce, looking around this map, Jax is the thing we want to watch here a little bit. Right, this top lane here, he takes a little bit of poke and just trades it back a little bit. Counter-Strike coming out. Kind of an even trade.
Yep.
This Paprise is the key here for Legacy. Getting him ahead, getting that split push going.
Yeah.
And you can see it already, as we have Guts sort of already rotating up. So how would you play this if you're in this game?
Well, I feel like exactly what they're doing right now. They actually respect the gank. There was no vision on Sejuani, but Babip actually is going to find Guts. This is going to hurt.
He's caught out. Red buff is down. Guts is taking a lot of health.
Dead?
He might die. He's going to flash the wall. And Babip deciding not to follow.
Yeah, huge amount of respect shown there. They did have the rotate from the mid lane. It is a Kassadin, but obviously just willing to take the flash. I feel like he always would have been able to kill this Sejuani in that situation if he wanted to. It could have flashed over the wall, just followed behind, and you have the hookshot available in a few seconds, but he's going to take the double scuttle, so that hurts already. We saw the trades as you were kind of handing off from Denny in there. In the top lane, Aatrox will be favored early, right? Jax wants to get his items, and he will be the split push threat, but especially with a Camille, the options are much more open for Mammoth, and the fact that they get double scuttle, he's going to get to farm his entire top side jungle, whereas Guts is just pathing out of base now with 3 camps in his back
Destiny,
pocket.
Ignite gone down, he's taking a lot of damage. Sun out, flash forward, heal gone out, there's damage. Has he got anything else left in there? Taking dives forward, flash back. He survives barely. King looking to turn it around though. Gets stunned up and they will disengage. Great trade for Legacy.
And this is so unexpected. Crazy transition to support. Literally like 2 to 3 weeks ago, just before the start of the split, King and Destiny, they've played with each other before on Direwolves. This is a veteran lineup in the bottom lane and already being pressured out.
Absolutely. Guts now using that pressure in the bot lane to move into this jungle. So, Camille's just above. Hits that vision plant the wrong way. So we'll not scout that out. We'll lose a camp. Guts very aggressive in that jungler. Obviously in the top lane, we're back here having a look at the trade. If you want to watch Guts, we've said it a few times, POV stream is up on Twitter. Check it out. I reckon it's going to be a good one. I'd have it open myself if I could. I don't have a screen near me, so that's a shame.
We definitely have like 3.
I can't plug it in.
The broadcast team is probably not happy that we're watching a POV stream instead of the main one.
We'll do a shoutcast based on just the jungle vision. Triple taking a good trade there from Chaz. Wow, Legacy looking pretty decent this early game.
Yeah, I will say the Kassadin is already up like a wave of CS. This is a TP for the LeBlanc. He's based, came back with an Amp Tome with a Dark Seal, so he's got that combination with the Corrupting Plot Dark Seal, the extra healing to get himself through. But this Kassadin pick, sort of out of left field, the coach of Legacy, Denny, was saying that this was the only thing they didn't expect, and it's already working wonders. The fact that they forced their Sejuani's flash very early in the hands of Camille, Babip doing very well on the reads there, and actually, hold on.
We're going for another one. Stun comes down, Destiny, lots of damage coming through. He's taking a ton, he stuns on return. Headbutts forward, looking for the return kill. Destiny gets first blood. How did he get that on a Praedyth? They go down, they get the trade kill, but that was actually a great play from Legacy that turns to disaster.
Yeah, somehow they get a trade back, and the mid lane chain is going to land. Double chain electrocute.
Oh, gets the damage on Chaz. Good trade. That was great from Legacy. And then, you know what? Destiny's a fantastic player. He turned that around and made, like, lemonade out of lemons just then.
So he was dead to rights. Has the Hex Flash, but that is useless defensively top lane, though.
Dive in the top. CC going down. Ult pops. Does get the kill. That's another free kill in the top lane. Paprai's done a lot of CS, and now getting dived into that turret is disaster news. But this has turned around very quickly for Legacy.
And these are just hectic trades back and forth. The top dive comes out. Paprai's has no TP, so he's going to lose a bunch of CS, not to mention most of his turret plates here. Triple in the mid lane, already burnt the flag.
Oh my god, another kill across the map. When Legacy look good, they look good, but in the last minute or so, it's all started falling apart for them. Great plays across the map from Mammoth.
Yeah, because this is a fleet footwork Kassadin to help you sustain up in the matchup. You saw how much burst the level 6 LeBlanc can do to a level 5 Kassadin. Chaz got a very nice trade, but as soon as that level 6 is hit from Triple, Destiny, very early Moby's rush, already, because he's so far behind in the lane, he did very well to match this 1-for-1 on the bottom side. Praedyth, by all rights, should not have died in that situation, but Braum Lucian against a flashless Alistar, as soon as a Q lands, Destiny will just die. And he recognizes that in the build, isn't going for the Targon's upgrade into defensive stats like a Ruby, like a Cloth. He goes for the straight Moby's rush so that he can make these plays. If you can get onto a LeBlanc, she's a champion that, actually, well, both the mid laners are. They thrive with freedom. And when they don't have freedom, they are next to useless. LeBlanc, if you pigeonhole her underneath her turret, she wants to get opened up on the map and start playing over walls and looking for picks, and Kassadin is very much the same. So the fact that Destiny goes for the early Moby boots, he's already got a successful gank onto Chaz. Triple is in a very good position already this game, and it's working wonders.
Topoon playing very well. Good vision going down. Look at this CS in the top lane. 30 versus 54. They've got that assist as well. So Aatrox already starting to dominate this Jax. Well, he's starting to push back. Guts here, looking top side of the map. He's decided this is where he needs to be right now. Kassadin in the mid lane is a difficult gank. Paprai's is going to trade here. Gets traded poorly. In fact, stun comes down. Actually a bit of threat here. Jungler is not nearby.
Because across the board on the top side, just look at the item difference. You have a Serrated Dirk double longsword Dorans for the Aatrox and 20 CS up, almost 30 after this wave to literally a longsword. And then Guts just went back now and bought his skirmishes. He had a talisman and a machete. And Camille is like already based. He's sitting up bot side, halfway finished towards his warrior. They have all the control in the world right now, so this is just what you want to see from from Mammoth rather. Jake was saying on the couch, he wants a 20-minute stomping. Like this should be, if they want to put their name back in the ring as one of the top OPL teams, I think on paper, like they are very skilled. They have the talent, they have the potential, but they have been underperforming so far. If this can be a very convincing win, then definitely looks good for them.
Absolutely. I don't know if their comp is like best for a 20-minute win. I think they've
Yeah,
got a bit
true.
better scaling. I think that getting a big lead by 20 minutes is what will really solidify them and make them really happy about this performance. Obviously, so far in this game, it's looking good.
Yep, it's only an Air Drake as well. It's no Infernal starts here. Topoon looking for Paprise.
Getting a lot of damage down, in fact. Does pop
the
the
dive.
ult, forces that out. Not going to dive.
Okay, so just going to be an ult trade back and forth. You probably have to think that Topoon would have liked to be able to hold on to his one, but Paprise respects it, blows his own now, is certainly under threat. You can see Guts, despite the fact that he does have Grump up on the bottom side of the map, he immediately has to path up to Topoon to defend against this dive. Paprise has already lost about 20 CS and 3 plates to his turret. Guts is behind.
Going for the damage. There's the CC coming out. They are going to get the stun down onto the Aatrox. Low health. Oh, Paprise is
no.
dead. He's getting turned. Guts looking to try and turn this one around. I don't know if he can do it. He's at risk now. Just back away. And Topoon gets a kill in a 2-for-1.
And they just bite off way more than they can shoot. Kassadin is now behind the turret. Topoon, is he going to take the turret? No.
No, Kassadin does go in. Gets the kill on Guts. Turret doing a lot of damage. No minions, but he does get out alive. That's another one for Triple.
And they just went for too much. Legacy, they were trying to not lose Paprise's wave again, because he's already in a hole. He doesn't want to be pushed down further, and they look for the play. Flashes are burnt to get onto the Aatrox. He had no ulti. The kill threat was potential there, but the fact that he just does so much damage, Sejuani isn't going to do that much, right? She has the CC. It needs to come from Jax, and unfortunately, the turnaround, Paprise blows absolutely everything and loses the wave anyway. Very nice collapse from Mammoth. Triple unlocked on the map already. 2 kills onto a Kassadin. This is a disastrous early game for Legacy fans.
Absolutely. Let's notice this then. Camille level 7, Jax level 7. That is not the even levels you want there. Paprise down 2 levels against his lane opponent. In the bot lane, though, we've got an engage. Praedyth getting caught out. Stun goes down. King goes in. Big hit. Praedyth's low. He's going to get nuked down. So is King, though.
Ooh.
King dies first. Now it's support versus support, and they're going to walk it out. 1-for-1 trade.
Yeah, they get the 1-for-1 trade. Summoners equal as well. Everyone burns everything. Destiny, what he's doing right now is just trying to hold the wave. He pulverizes it so they will get low, but Braum's push is definitely not good. So he's just sticking around so that King may be able to catch as much of this as possible. whilst he walks back to the lane.
I thought that was a misplay from King there. They had a great engage, had the damage onto Praedyth, but he went in very hard before Braum altered. Got caught out, got CC'd, and died, honestly, before Praedyth did.
Yep. Potentially could have been the case. Babip is going to use this time to just look to solo out a Rift Herald. This is something that junglers definitely don't like doing. Rift Herald takes a very long time and deals a lot of damage when you're just face tanking that one. Dodges out to the side. So this is using a lot of tempo, but the fact that they have fairly good vision control, the top side of the map is entirely Mammoth's territory. This is double CS. First item completed in the Ghostblade for the Aatrox, and Paprise is absolutely miserable. That means Guts really doesn't want to be spending much time up there at all, so they know roughly that he will be on the bottom side of the map. Their bot lane just died, so there's no play for Legacy to make on the other side of the map, so makes sense that Mammoth just take this one out and get the Rift.
Yeah, you heard Denny in the pregame. He was talking about it. If no one can match Jax, they've got late game potential with a 4-1 or a 1-3-1. Right now, Jax is not looking good. That late game potential might not be there. King getting caught out though, taking a lot of damage. Here comes the Sejuani. Not looking for the dive though. But right now, if you're Legacy, you've got to be looking at the late game going, if we get there, we're in trouble. We need to make plays now.
It's going to be the Lucian Braum. They are a very good 1 to 2 item AD carry support duo. You can force a lot with them, and that is what they're doing. Gus comes down here, looks for a gank. King gets very low. They have to respect it. Babip now going to clean up some of this CS as much as possible, but it really is on Praedyth and Crazy because the solo lanes are just in disaster territory already. This is first item Rod of Ages very early for the Kassadin on the back of the 2 kills he has. Top lane is just absolutely boom. There's nothing that Jax is going to do until 3 or 4 items, but we're talking 20, 25 minutes away at best if Legacy can hold on, so certainly is going to be the case of Lucian Braum. If they can get things done, then Legacy may be able to hold on.
Absolutely. The thing to keep in mind is that Jax, whilst his turret's down, has got a longer lane. Usually it means your jungler can come in, but with mid laner doing so well, the pressure topside is so little, they can easily get vision that jungle, and they can keep that Jax down if they want to commit the resources.
Because they also just won't have the damage, right? There's going to be a Black Cleaver, Merc Treads completed already for the Aatrox. He has a second life, so if you do, as Legacy, like try and kill that Aatrox, you're going to A, spend a lot of time, B, maybe you can't even kill him. Destiny, potentially looking for something. They have 4 members.
Mammoth are rotating in. Guts going in. There's 2 members coming down the river, though. One dead. Kaiser dead already. Here comes double teleport. It's going to be a 4v5. Topper is big, though. He's got his ult. He's doing a lot of damage, but he's CC'd up. His ult's popped. He's going to heal up, but not that much. Is he going to be able to survive here? Legacy are going to go on Topoon. The backside, Paprise dies. And Camille Babip is popping off. He gets 2. Here comes triple as well on Kassadin. He's doing a lot of damage as well. 3rd kill for Mammoth. They're turning this fight around. Paprise comes in and gets 1 return kill, but he's going to get cleaned up, and Mammoth turned that one around.
And basically a 4 versus 5, but the solo laners from Mammoth come in and do so much damage. Aatrox in between absolutely everyone is just bodying people. Rift Herald now popped. This bottom lane plating just broke, so the turret will be dead to rights as well. Camille, she can go over solo an Air Dragon. King, sure he died, but he gets the first deploy onto mid lane, already has that first item, so Mammoth, they just have the turnaround there. Legacy, look for the play. The Mammoth answer.
It looked like a good play from Legacy. They picked up King very quickly before Triple could even enter the fight, before Babip could enter the fight. But at that point, I feel like their focus split. So they wanted to target the Aatrox down, and then they split into 2 groups. They tried to finish Aatrox off. Talk me through this.
Yeah, because we do take another look. Like, this is a decent gank setup. The fact of the matter is that Camille and Kassadin are already rotating. So Mammoth expect this play, but Legacy think they can get away with murder. They literally see Camille, and they're like, if we can kill the Kaiser, then maybe we can win the fight despite our deficit. But Aatrox is dealing so much damage. You saw Babip actually hesitate on the back end. They're not sure if they could win this fight, but just on the back end, there's so much mobility. Camille cleans up the top side of the fight. Triple ult flashing in for that play, and the CC is just everywhere. Destiny untouched, and once a few members drop, very easy cleanup.
Paprise there was targeting Triple. I forget who it was. Someone was going down for Aatrox, and then everyone else was peeling back.
Yep.
That was not clear comms once Aatrox was popped, right? You need to be together as a team, focus the right targets together. They tried to split too much, and they paid for it.
Certainly did. So, it's only 15 minutes into the game. 6,000 gold here. Lead in the hands of Mammoth. They may just be looking for something. No ulti, no Hextech ultimatum for the Camille.
That Air Drake was taken as well, so they got that objective as well. So that's something on the board. That's more to spawn the next Drake, though.
Not the biggest prize, but mid lane turret is going to be the last one of the outer ring. You can see Mammoth set up right now. They don't care about bottom lane. There's no pressure on their turret. And top side is already pressured in. Legacy are sitting here underneath their turret. And Mammoth are kind of softly contesting this. Paprise doesn't know Aatrox is in the river, though. He's just about to face check this one. Pink towards the bush. So he won't have to fight. Very nice.
Yeah, the key thing here is after that fight, Legacy look like they have bite. Look like they can make something happen still. Obviously, they've lost a bit of gold in that fight. We'll have to see what the next one looks like. But they have plays. They aren't out of this game, but it's all on Mammoth right now. Can they make the right plays? Can they rotate around the map and turn this like 4,000, 5,000 gold lead, actually closer to 6 now, into something much larger? Because
I feel like for the next 5 minutes, or 4 minutes rather, it's probably not going to turn into much larger. The only objective they can realistically play for is mid-turret, and that is very easily defensible. Legacy's comp is kind of hard to dive. They have a Brawn, they have a Sejuani. Mammoth do have enough of the lead to potentially look for that one, but if they can just play slow for the next 4 minutes, set up around Baron, they are going to have so much control. They're going to wait for the TP of Topoon. He can just play down here with his food in Paprise at this point in time, and he will be able to do whatever he wants. And if they set up a very clean Baron, then that could be the play for them, but for the next 3 minutes, I feel like it is just going to be trading back and forth.
Yeah, this split here is what I'm curious about. How do Legacy tackle this in the next few minutes, Bryce? Because Topoon, he's 1-1-6, but he's up a lot of CS over Jax. So if you put Jax there, actually Chaz does a lot of poke there of a bit. But if you throw Jax down there, he can't match it. He's got to clear the waves, but he gets pushed in pretty easily.
Well, I think that's exactly what I'm speaking to. Like, they just catch the waves underneath their turret, and maybe they will have to slowly lose mid. There's going to be times when the waves have crashed, like literally right now, where Jax is in bottom lane and LeBlanc is in top side.
Well, Guts sort of got caught out a little there. Back away and disengage.
There are 5 members of Mammoth in the mid lane, and they're going to have free access to the turret. The collapse will come eventually from the LeBlanc and the Jax, but they're not looking to fight. Aatrox is, though.
Aatrox is big. Olsen runs in. Topoon trying to pick off kills. They could for turret. The turret's still alive. Does go down. Now Destiny re-engages. Big hit. Triple goes in as well. Tons of damage. Praedyth is down. So's the turret. Guts to the right side's low. And then Chaz is dead as well. Big fight for Mammoth.
And this is just absolute disaster. They lose 2 members. They lose the turret as well. Everyone up and available here for Mammoth. Double turrets is just going to be the prize. They're going to deny maybe the red buff on top side, deny some of this vision, and they're just going to look for the reset. Baron up in about 1.5 minutes. Next Dragon is up before that. They have a lot of options here, do Mammoth, and the map is certainly theirs.
Absolutely. That was a great rotate there by Topoon behind. It looked really out of position, but they had the numbers advantage. They got the turret, and then they re-engaged when the turret died.
Because look at their comp. Like, Ali has Hex Flash, so he starts that play off, but then you have a Kassadin, Camille, and Aatrox, and a very mobile AD carry. Every single one of these champions, this isn't like a front to back. They can play the scrappy, we'll just fight however and wherever you want, because we can come from every single angle. As soon as Aatrox gets an opening to force Lucian to back away, to force Chaz to back away, if those guys cannot deal damage, then King is going to run rampant. The Kassadin is going to run rampant, and that's just exactly what we saw.
Absolutely. So a little bit of tempo reset on the map now as Mammoth look to re-establish these lanes. Vision in jungle. Top side here, actually, Triple getting caught out, but very mobile.
Is he like even caught out? He's just 1v2 contesting the golem.
Oh, Paprise looking to turn around now. Topoon turning around with damage. There's a lot on the side on both these players here. Here's Alistair though. Paprise in a lot of trouble. Does get comboed. He flashes the wall, but Camille's waiting for him. He's dead.
Burns, the summoner, is going to die anyway. Baron is up in 40 seconds. Dragon spawning in 5. Triple playing with fire. 1 versus 2 in the top side. Chain goes wide.
Does miss. No follow-up there. He does get away. Triple can do that with that, what is it, level 13? His ult's probably 4-second cooldown or so right now.
Also, 5, 0, and 2. Like, LeBlanc doesn't have a second item. She doesn't have boots. Sejuani LeBlanc probably just cannot kill the Kassadin. He's way too slippery and almost way too tanky at this point. Merc treads 9 stacks on the Rod of Ages. There's very little opportunities there. So, as we said, Mammoth have access to everything. They're playing this one relatively slowly. They get the pick onto Paprise. You saw as soon as Topoon saw that he went in for the fight, he's just like, sure, bud. And he just walks. He's just walking away back to his team because he knows the slow game is going to favor them. And Paprise is cornered. So, they take the blue buff. They take the dragon. Mountain means their Baron is going to be just that little bit quicker, and here comes a full coordinated reset from the Mammoth.
Absolutely. This top jungle is where Legacy are focusing their vision. They've got some pink wards down there trying to really control. They realize Baron play is what they need to make here, and not by taking Baron. I think contesting it, maybe getting some kills as Mammoth try and take it is their best bet at this point in the game. Paprise is in the bot lane to push it out, because if they're doing Baron, he needs to be down there to make sure they can't get pushed in and don't need to react to that lane.
Top laners
do have TP.
Here we go.
Big hit onto Paprise. This crazy though. Wrong target, unfortunately. Triple and Destiny coming in. Topoon and King on the backside as well. Looking to disengage. TP in the front line here. There's 4 people here. 1 down already. Guts does get a... Paprise gets a kill, but Guts gets taken down as well. Paprise in no man's land. That looks like it's a 1 for 2 right now. Can they get the 3rd kill here?
But this is honestly a fairly good situation for Legacy. Almost best case scenario. They do lose 1 for 2. Paprise is buying a whole lot of time, but Babip, crucially, he was the one that died. Sort of disjointed there. He went in on the engage, had the stopwatch on the back end, and his team couldn't clean up in time because of Paprise in the backline. So
yeah,
he may actually just live. They know where he is, looking for the execute. Unfortunately, King's going to be there.
Give it a choose your poison here, King or Topoon. Looks to turn it on the King. Gets a stopwatch for that. It's probably better than he expected. It was very interesting because on the engagement, it went straight in. Looked at Praedyth and like, I'm going to get on you, but the ult didn't hit him.
Yeah, because the Aatrox has a ton of this gold lead and he's not in the fight just yet. This TP from Paprise is crucial, given that King and Topoon are not dealing damage to useful members. That was actually Chaz's TP in the backline. He gets one shot, but Praedyth gets to live. Paprise gets to live for so long, as does Guts, and any time that Mammoth aren't setting up and doing Baron, progressing the game,
Crazy's caught. He's getting pulled in. In fact, he's going to get taken down. We thought he was out, but he gets pulled right back in. That's going to be a big tempo advantage here for Mammoth. They're moving towards the Baron here, Bryce.
Yep, 11,000 gold lead, 22 minutes. This should be a very easy cleanup. They have an Alistar to just play goalkeeper here from the Sejuani. They know exactly where he is. Triple and Topoon all go over the wall. They don't have a tank in the pit, so Topoon rectifies the situation.
Baron does go down. That's a very clean Baron from Mammoth. The play that Legacy was sort of setting up for there, kind of spoilt with that pick on Crazy. Baron for Mammoth, now they're going to apply pressure to this top lane.
Because Legacy just don't have good options. Like, team fights, they shouldn't win with a 10,000, 11,000 gold deficit. Braum obviously got caught because they were looking for vision. The only way they can hold on in this situation is looking for the steal. So Crazy Shaw dies. It looks like he cost them Baron, but they were going to lose it anyway. They were just looking for the contest and some
they were
sort of
for
opportunity.
Play. And with him being dead, they no longer have one.
So Mammoth, once again, just going to play this one slow. I'm interested to see if they go for a dive. They don't have Ali Flash, or if they do just play 3 lanes. They have TP on Aatrox. Triple will be an absolute nuisance in a side lane on the Kassadin, and they can just play all 3 sides of the map here with this composition.
Yep, maximize that Baron buff. This wave's going to crash this turret, but you can see Kassadin heading down here now to the bot lane. On the top side, but Bip clearing his jungle, and Aatrox making his way top. And you see King on Kai'Sa pushing out this mid lane. So they are going to do a 1-3-1 here, I would imagine.
At least for the time being. Legacy going to have to pull the trigger on a play long before it gets to the inhibs. And you can see them kind of stacking up. I believe they're on vision. Mammoth know exactly where they are right now, on top of that ward in the mid lane.
Oh, they're going in. Here goes Babip. Big ult comes down. Hits Praedyth. He's caught in the ult there. Topoon comes in, cleans him up. That's a 1-for-1. Babip dies as well. Chaz just get away in the back line. Paprise over the wall. On the left side, Crazy's going to go down to Topoon. 2-for-1. And Mammoth are breaking the base.
Yeah, this should just be the end. 4 members still are alive. They do not have the Camille, but last stand for Legacy. Jax and LeBlanc is basically all they have. 4 members strong, pushing in the mid. The inhib goes down, now onto the Nexus.
Looking to push this base down. Baron buff is helping. First turret falls. Paprise and Chaz looking to hold this one out. Guts on the top side there, looking to see if they can get an engage. In fact, they're not going to be able to get an engage with this team, but can they stay alive in this match? They've got to buy another 10 seconds for the team to respawn. Paprise gets caught, takes a lot of damage. Destiny follows up. He's going to get taken down as well. And now this is all in shambles here for Legacy. Their last turret's going to fall, and their Nexus is now open. The fight continues though. Looks like Topoon is trying to lead the charge against the team for Mammoth. Against Legacy, this Nexus here is low health. It's going to go down, and Mammoth go 2-2 in the OPL.
And that was just a very dominant victory from the early game. King slamming his desk in happiness, I guess, I assume. I can only assume, maybe, did he die? Did he die to the Nexus at the end?
I don't know. Well, the thing to think about King though in this game, he's a very good player, but his laning phase wasn't very good, right? They kind of got shoved out a bit. They had some bad trades. Maybe he might be, whilst happy they won, maybe he expected a better performance.
Yeah, that is certainly possible, and I feel like he would be the kind of guy to go for that sort of situation. Destiny having a bit of a laugh in that situation. But yeah, just dominant performance. Jake was saying it on the couch. That is what you expected. Yeah. It all started with like a pick on Sejuani in the topside river. And then that turns into a very big topside lead. Yeah. There's that kill onto Paprise. He falls down. There was a point where he's literally 100 to 50 CS. He is literally half of Topoon. And the Aatrox just ran a steamroller over the Legacy comp. The Kassadin got 2 early kills, and that's just disaster central. That champion, like, sure, it's like very good into the LeBlanc, but Kassadin stylistically, it's like this guy concedes the early game. He needs to get to his items, he needs to get to his breakpoints, and then super late game, he is just incredibly obnoxious. But that train just started much earlier. And unfortunately, Legacy didn't have an answer.
Absolutely. The early game actually was very heavily in Mammoth's favor, but there were a couple of moments that showed a few signs of life there for Legacy. They had that great 2v2 bot where they almost picked up the kill. Wasn't quite enough, though. And they had a few other plays as well that made them seem like they had more of an opportunity in that match.
Yeah. They're not a team that just concedes. Right? Like, when they're behind, they are looking for plays. They did have a decent performance in the bottom lane. The Lucian Braum, very strong. I feel like King of Destiny did disrespect it a little bit early. Cost them a flash. They got probably a trade kill that they maybe didn't deserve early on. So Legacy had an option, but if you're winning one lane and Mammoth is just stomping two, it's very rough.
Fantastic. Well, thanks, Bryce, for your insight. We're going to get insight from 2 more analysts and Nick Boy.
That's right. It's me, not an analyst. Jake, you said before that game that you wanted to see who on Mammoth would take charge. I think the whole team took charge from the very beginning, but who stood out?
Yeah, I think when you have a look at it, like, once again, just hats off to Topoon. Like, they said that there was one point in the game where he was WCS. There was a point in the game where he was 5 times CS. There was a point in the game where it was literally like 52 CS to 14 or something. And I was like, oh, that's a quick go next right there. But unfortunately for a team, and I am really a fan of this, like, I truly believe this is how teams work. If you lose a game you think you're supposed to win, you are just looking for, like, the closest team to, like, hit. Like, you just want to take out all your anger and aggression. And the Mammoth players are proud players, and I feel so bad for Legacy because they just got beat up real bad.
It's real tragic for Legacy. It's funny because the Chiefs said a similar thing after their win today. You know, Ray's even posted on Twitter, he's like, released all the anger. That is very clearly a trend that you'll see from a lot of these teams because expectations are high and upsets do happen in best of ones. And conversely, of course, when you do get upset in the best of one, the next one, you come back with a vengeance and you really make it known. And that was 5 people playing very clean League of Legends as a team.
Absolutely. And we've got one of those people right now at the desk with Benji. It is Destiny.
Thanks, Nick Boy. I'm joined by Destiny, the support for Mammoth. I want to start, actually, at the end of the game, we saw King there look a little bit upset maybe at that game. Do you have any insight on that at all?
A lot of the guys were frustrated because of the loss to AV. It was definitely something we didn't expect. And honestly, going forward, like, we just want to put in as much effort as we can so that this doesn't happen, like, ever again. Well, like, it's really likely to happen because best of one format, right? The changes. So, yeah, the Mordekaiser definitely caught us off guard. And, we just took out all our anger onto Legacy today. So I feel bad for them.
Fair enough. That was a very one-sided game. Is that kind of what you wanted to show today, like this dominance and show how you guys can actually perform in a regular game?
Yeah, I think a lot of people in the off-season like branded us as like this super team and like this team like top 2 to win the OPL, right? But we don't really see it that way. Like, this is the very early beginning of the split, and we just want to take every game as like a learning opportunity so that we can get better. Like, obviously, we have Topoon, a new player, who's very humble and hungry to grow, so it's been a pleasure working with him. And I think just going throughout the week and just preparing and improving is really our goal, so yeah.
Okay, so last week you guys obviously went 1-1. Probably not the result you wanted. You always wanted 2-0. Losing the Bombers, though, who looked good. Not the most disappointing of losses, I imagine. What was it like in the team house this week? Was it like, okay, we're doing okay, or was there panic, or were you happy?
At first, I would say like we were pretty frustrated. Like every win matters. Like the best of one format, like going back to that, like every win matters. And Bombers losing to Chiefs today, like we were all pretty happy about that. So yeah, this week we put in a lot of effort, a lot of time into like our communication, our macro, our micro, and yeah, just Richard Fantix, he's putting in a lot of effort. We're all putting in a lot of effort. And to all the fans that we've like let down over the past 2 weeks, I promise you, like, we're going to do our best to fix up our play and hopefully come out strong over the next few weeks.
Okay. Can you talk to me about the change week to week as you guys train more and more together? Because some of you have played together before on different teams at different times, but like bringing you all together at once is different, obviously. Is it taking time to get that gel, and how are you changing as the weeks go on?
Yeah, definitely. Like Triple and King on Direwolves, me and Babip on Chiefs, and Topoon playing in the OCS. So I think we have a lot of different views on how to play the game and like what champs are strong. Like, so obviously we got to try get that one idea that we all agree on and what's like the best play or the best pick. So I think that's definitely taking its time. And the structures that we have in place at Mammoth is just you just put in 100% in and out every day. Everyone, like we're sort of creating like a family environment where we treat each other with respect, and we come across with humble, like we're all humble to each other, we're all friends. So like playing with King, and like I played with Triple in AV, I played with King of Direwolves, I played Babip in Chiefs, so like, and even Fantix, I won OPL with him. So like we're all pretty close, and honestly it's been great working with them so far.
Fantastic. You guys came together, obviously. Are you looking to win the split or split one, or are you looking ahead to sort of Worlds? Like, what's this team's goal?
Our team goal is to have a successful international performance. I don't think it's ever been done. It's been close, like in Chiefs, like 2015, I think it was.
Yeah.
Like it's never been done before, but obviously like this is a high stride, and right now we are obviously struggling domestically right now, so we're probably just going to focus on winning the OPL at this point.
Fair enough. Well, thank you so much for joining us and sharing your insight. I'm going to throw it back to Nick Boy on the couch.
Welcome back. Well done, Destiny, by the way. Excellent game. He said